Hi everybody, welcome to Cleveland. We are on another family trip and we have ended up in Cleveland. We're here with some friends. We are getting ready to do a whole big tour of lots of things for the family to do in Cleveland. So I think we're gonna go to the Science Center, we're gonna go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There are parks, there are beaches, there's all kinds of sightseeing to do. So hang out with us as we check out Cleveland. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us for all of our family travels and more interesting excursions and road trips along the way. But thanks so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe, and let's go check out Cleveland. Welcome to the Cleveland Great Lakes Science Center. We did not expect to be here today. We were heading to Cleveland for multiple other trips, especially the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but we were going to go to a Cleveland Guardians baseball game, but it got rained out, or it's going to be rained out, or delayed or something. So now we are here at the Science Center, and the cool part about this is that we have a museum membership at home, and it is good here. It's a reciprocal membership. We'll have to put it down in the caption or below what the name is called, but check your museum memberships because you may be able to get in for free to other places across the country. So that's what we're doing today. We're here at the Great Lakes Science Center with our kids and some friends, and we're gonna check it out. Let's go inside. Ooh, what's in here? So many things. Apparently, Ohio has had a lot of astronauts, including John Glenn and James Lovell. Is he the one that was in Apollo 13? Neil Armstrong. Paul Weitz wore this spacesuit as he extended his body from the open hatch of the Apollo command module and attempted to free the jammed solar panel on the outside of Skylab.
Ooh.
I went to space. On July 28th, 1973, the Skylab 3 crew lifted off in this capsule, docking with Skylab later that day. After a record-setting 59 and a half days in orbit, this Apollo command module safely returned the crew to Earth. It splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Hawaii. Cool. Apollo Command Module. Wow, that is small. I wonder where the people live.
I wonder where
The people are. Coming soon, Mission Flight VR, late June. Ooh, we're here just a little too early. Looks like you can do VR like you're a fighter pilot or going into space. That's cool, like a ride. So this is a recreation of the capsule that John Glenn went in, the very first American in orbit in space. We're gonna see if Marin fits in there and what she thinks about it. 1962. What do you think, Mare? You wanna be an astronaut? Push some buttons. You know what you do? You lay down and you put your feet in those little things and you put your head there, and that's how you fly. And then you, yeah, I know.
How did he act?
Well, he was a big person, he could reach. And see those handles? That's how you flew it. Those handles on the side? Yep. Whoa. Lincoln is controlling the rover from across the way, like he's in Space Command and this guy's on Mars. Let's see if we can get it to go. Hi, little rover. This whole section is about your body and about health. Cleveland Clinic obviously is up here. There's a whole thing about DNA. see how your DNA fits together. Like a puzzle. Tiny tools. Oh my gosh, you can do surgery. So it's moving, and you can watch it up there on the screen like how a surgeon would see it. Look at that. Those are some intestines and a stomach. Functional e-stem. That's awesome. So many new inventions and discoveries. I love it. Rigamajig. If you have a builder, this is like life-size stuff you can build. Giant K'NEX Tinker Toys. So the first floor was mostly the space and some like biotechnology stuff. And then upstairs is a lot of music and instruments and other things, machines. But tomorrow we will be going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So this is like a small version of that so the kids can play. Looks like there's a little indoor playground for the toddler section. There's the lake out there. Oh, there's a playground. There's a playground for the kids to run off their energy when they are done learning science. All right, there's just this little patio. I wanted to check it out. Right next to where the Cleveland Browns play. It's all very compact here in Cleveland. I believe this is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the backside of it, that we will be at later. We drove past it on the way in. You drive past this, and then you get to a parking garage for the Science Center, but they're right next door to each other. You're making a battery with your own human power. Copper, aluminum. Slightly damp and salty hands create different chemical reactions. Touch copper and aluminum.
Copper and aluminum.
Weird. So it's more when you do one and the other, not both at the same time. Not both of the same type of metal. All right, your human battery. Ooh, when Italian anatomist Luigi Galvani discovered a dead frog could twitch, he like invented Frankenstein. What do you have, a giant Etch-a-Sketch? That's interesting. It's called a harmonograph. The upstairs is a lot of hands-on stuff, a lot of like natural phenomena, small machines. Look at that, some fog. This looks how they did early lighthouses. I don't know if that's true, a spectra. Yep, I was right. Early lighthouses. Because it sends the light around the room. A light inside all those little refractory pieces. This lighthouse lens was constructed in 1884. It was visible for 13 miles. Cool. Woo, the rain is coming in, the wind is going. Now you can see why the game was canceled. No baseball today. Holy moly. It's nice and cool though. It's cooling us down. That's a lot of wind. I don't need my fan at the moment. Woo, I can feel the rain and the wind. Yikes. That's what you call lake effect. There it is. Ta-da, tornado. This science center is similar to the Wonder Lab in Bloomington, Indiana, or it's called the Adventure Science Center in Nashville. Lots of the similar activities, earth sciences and machines, music, building, all very similar. So check out some of our other videos on the different science centers that we've taken the kids to over the years. The NASA stuff is different. That is very unique to this space and space, no pun intended, but it definitely is a cool thing to look at here. They have a Titanic exhibit, but it is a separate admission. Have to see if our membership gets us in here or not. Okay, so I made it into the Titanic Artifact Exhibit. It was extra, but if you pay for the admission to the regular museum, you get $5 off here. So it's $15 for me to get this exhibit, which is pretty good because I didn't pay for the rest of the museum. And then you get this, which is a boarding pass, and it tells you about a specific passenger, and you get to learn about that passenger and see if you lived or died by the end. And I'm first class. Passenger J, Mrs. John Murray Brown. Here we go. Actual artifacts from the Titanic, a big stock pot. This is from a submersible looking at the wreckage. 2010. That is what they would go down in. That is scary. It's like a little robot. It looks like a minion. It's got arms, cameras, and lights. The wreck of the Titanic is a really spectacular, ghostly thing to see. The hull looms up out of the darkness like a mountain. The ship is being slowly consumed by metal-eating bacteria. This is why we must recover what we can now from the site, because in a few years, perhaps a decade or two, there will be virtually nothing left. Wow. That's unfortunate. It's only been a little over 100 years. Ismay was the chairman of the White Star Line, and Lord William Peary was chairman of the Belfast shipbuilding firm Harland and Wolff. They conceived a plan to dominate passenger travel in the North Atlantic. Yep, when you seek to dominate and have power, sometimes you cut corners. Look, that's a wrench. That's enormous. Here it is. Here it is. Does anyone feel like James Cameron? Making a movie? Wow. 4 smokestacks. Captain Edward J. Smith promised his wife and daughter that he would retire after taking the Titanic's first voyage. Alright, we have more artifacts. A candy dish, a first-class dining room floor tile, a soup spoon, silver plate, a dinner fork, and a Ballauer vase. If you've ever been to the French Lick Hotel in southern Indiana, it's a similar time period. Spectacles, cufflinks, tie pin. Here's a recreation of a stateroom, a first-class cabin. Titanic can accommodate 750 first-class passengers. Got your big fancy bed, your luggage, your shoes, of course, your fur and your mink and your china. This is a third-class cabin. It does say that they got bunk beds and a little custom blanket. A third-class ticket on Titanic to New York cost $40, which is about $900. And a $4,500 is the price of a first-class luxury suite, which would have been around $100,000 today. Holy moly. $45 is a lot today. $4,500 was first class at the time. Dang. Ice warning. Ice warning. Ice warning. Up in the crow's nest, lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee scan the unusually calm sea. Neither man has binoculars, which were misplaced in the rush to get Titanic ready for service, making their task even more difficult on the moonless night. Suddenly, a dark mass looms off the ship's bow. The fleet grabs the bell clapper and rings 3 times, then phones his report to the bridge. Iceberg right ahead. Touch the iceberg. Because saltwater freezes at a lower temperature than freshwater, the saltwater ocean was colder. Oh, that's actual ice. Whoa. That is cold. That is cold. Margaret Brown takes charge of Lifeboat 6, wresting control away from the unstable quartermaster Robert Hitchens and encouraging women in her boat to row with her. Later during the long freezing night, Margaret will keep her companions' spirits up with stories and song. After aiding other passengers into the lifeboat, the director of the White Star Line, Bruce Ismay, steps into collapsible sea. It is the last boat launched on the starboard side. Over 1,500 passengers remain on the ship, but he gets on a lifeboat. Investigative hearings into Titanic's tragedy were held in the United States and Great Britain. These hearings led to new laws and regulations designed to prevent future maritime disasters. Touch the Titanic. This fragment was originally located on the starboard side of the ship between C and D decks. This visible holes once held the rivets that attached to the ship. So you can reach inside. Oh, my hand's not very long enough, but you can touch it. Touch the Titanic. That's amazing. It's me and a million other people. Wow. That came out of the ocean. Want to find out if our passenger survived. I'm gonna guess she did since she's first class, but I could be wrong. Scan your boarding pass here. So let's see what it says. She survived. Caroline Lane Lamson Brown, an American. Miss Brown died June 1928, buried in Mount Auburn Cemetery, Brookline, Massachusetts. All right, I think that is it for us here at the Great Lakes Science Center in Cleveland. It's almost 5 o'clock, so it's dinner time. So I think that's the next step, is to go get checked into our hotel and get some dinner.